guys, back again. It's 15th of December. It's about 3 Celsius now. We've got a southeasterly wind coming in. You can see from the way the hammock's billowing away there. The wind's catching it like a sail. So I'm pitching the wind's coming in from you guys. So I'm pitching broadside into the wind, so my tarp's going to be coming down this way. So that's kind of, you need to be mindful of that in temperatures like this. I mean, we're looking at about 0 degrees Celsius tonight, but we're expecting freezing rain as well, and there's this southeasterly wind coming in, so it could drop, you know, with the humidity, it could drop really cold. So it's belt and braces. I've unpacked the old school buffalo. We've all been talking about buffaloes lately, haven't we? So I unpacked the old boy, give it an outing. But there's a few of us out. We're going to cook up some grub, have a few laughs, and brave the cold. So yeah. So what I thought I'd talk about today is winter camping, winter hammock camping, that is. But a lot of the knowledge is transferable if you're on the ground or whatever, or in a tent even, you know. Yeah, so I'm just going to get rest of this gear set up, and we'll have a little chat. Right guys, we're all set up. Just got my tarp up now, just as a bit of a windbreak, mainly for you guys, so you're not the wind's not drowning me out. So, winter hammock camping. A lot of people are under misconception that you need to use hammocks in the summertime, and that's it. In the winter you need to go to the ground. You know, you've got your big massive Arctic sleeping bags, which, you know, I own one myself, there's nothing wrong with them. But you can, you know, there's no reason with the right kit that you can't hammock camp down to seriously low temperatures. I mean, there's a guy in the States called Shug Emery, who's a bit of a hammock guru, really. I learned a hell of a lot from Shug's videos, and he lives up in Minnesota, and they get regular winter temperatures of -25, -30 Celsius, and he's hammock camping right through the winter. But obviously you've got to have the right kit and the right knowledge, or you're going to be in trouble quite quickly. Well, as I say, we're in northern England, and we winter time we see regular sea temperatures of -2, -3 Celsius. It can drop as cold as -15 Celsius, but what we have to deal with is quite a high humidity. So those temperatures are a bit misleading sometimes, you know. So that's one thing that I will say to you. If you can hear me, I don't know. I mean, I'm filming this now. I don't know if you can hear me because, like I say, I've set you up over there, and the wind's a bit howly. So, but yeah, learn a little bit about weather. You know, learn a little bit. Not just look at the temperature. Look at the wind direction. Try and find a good weather app. The Met Office is a decent one. But don't just rely on the weather map. You know, look out the window, look up at the sky, see which way the wind is travelling when you get to camp. Don't rely on apps. You know, learn a little bit about the weather. If it looks like it's going to rain, the chances are it's going to rain, despite what that app says on your phone. Sorry about that, guys. The wind blew my phone over. But yeah, just learn a little bit about weather, really, and then when you get to camp, like I've said before, be mindful of the way you pitch your tarp, and so the tarp's hitting, you know, the wind's hitting that tarp rather than coming underneath and finding you and robbing all your heat. You will notice that my hammock setup, my underquilt looks slightly different. I have got my hammock gear down underquilt under there. But what this is, like they call this an underquilt protector, and it's basically basically a vapour barrier, and it just stops the underquilt forming condensation. The condensation will form on this rather than on the underquilt. And what I am experimenting with as well is between me and the underquilt, just for an extra bit of warmth, because like I say, it's going to be pretty chilly here tonight, and it's quite windy. I've got just a cheap Costco down comforter, a down throw, I think they called them in the store, and I've just doubled that up and sort of laid that between me and my underquilt. I've got my top quilt, my good old top quilt, my matching top quilt. I'm wearing underneath the layers that I'm wearing now, I'm wearing merino wool. Most of you guys have got merino wool, and if you've not got merino wool and you're thinking about what to get for Christmas, it's a worthwhile investment. There's some really good deals on a merino wool at the moment. Your budget supermarkets, your Lidl, your Aldi, Decathlon, places like that, they're all doing deals on merino wool at the minute. Just make sure before you buy it that it is 100% merino. As always, I've got a merino hat. I've got my buffalo if it gets really cold. But one thing that I do tend to always have, and I've done it for a long time, is I carry with me a set of softies. Some of you guys already know what softies are, but the softies are basically like a sleeping bag suit, if you like. Military issue. Most of the European military associations have them, the armies, military associations, armies. Most armies have them. The snug pack ones, I think, are the British MOD ones. I think the Irish Defence Force ones are very similar. I know the Americans have got a good softy set, but the ones I use, they're a little bit heavier insulated, and these are I think these are Austrian. Yeah, I think these are Austrian softy bottoms. So yeah, get yourself a set of softies. Jacket wise, like I said, softy jackets, there's nothing wrong with them, but I recently got gifted this. Now it's quite a Gucci bit of kit. It's a Rab jacket. It's a Pertex and down. I probably wouldn't have gone out and bought one of these, but as I say, it was a gift. And I've kind of swapped my softy jacket for this. Like I say, it's Pertex on the outside, so you know, in theory, it's water resistant, not waterproof. There's a big difference. But what I do like about it, it's got a full down hood. So I've slept in that a couple of nights, and that's super warm. It's a really nice thing to have. You know, it packs down really small. Ram it down in the bottom of your pack, and it's just a really nice bit of extra luxury, you know, just to have. And believe you me, there's nothing macho about being freezing cold. You know, you see a lot of guys and they just go out and they just got one bag and a tarp and a ground sheet. And you know, fair enough. Some guys, they don't feel the cold, and that's moves me on to my next subject. Your tolerance for temperature is not the same as the guy next to you. Me myself, I'm out a lot with work in cold building sites and stuff, and I know that when I'm moving about during the day, I don't tend to get that cold. So I might only wear sort of a couple of layers and then like a softy jacket, a wool shirt or like a buffalo shirt, something like that. But I do sleep quite cold. Now a friend of mine, I know this sounds stereotypical, but he's a Scottish guy, ex-forces, spends a hell of a lot of time outside, and he doesn't ever seem to feel the cold. I mean, his idea of a winter lair is basically just putting on a buffalo shirt and that's it. It doesn't use an underquill, and you know, he just never seems to feel the cold. But his metabolism's probably a little bit faster than mine. You know, you need to understand how your body heats itself. It's metabolizing food and then generating heat and creating energy and carrying that around your body. So that brings us on to what I wanted to discuss, and that's keeping warm. It doesn't matter how much kit you've got. If you go to bed cold, you're going to pretty much, it's going to take you a long time to warm up, if at all. And if you're cold, you're not going to sleep. So try and keep warm in them last couple of hours before you go to bed. You know, your body needs fuel, it needs food to heat it. And to get that heat to your body, through your body, it goes through your bloodstream. Now, obviously the engine for that, or the pump for that, is in here, in your core. So, the way I look at it is, let's just stand up for this one on here, look. So, rather than saying that's your core, let's extend the core down to your knees. So, from your neck down to your knees, because your thighs and your buttocks are big muscles, and they need a lot of blood flow, they need a lot of heat. And down inside your thighs you've got your femoral arteries. You get your calving guys, you know, your triangle of death and all that, you know that there's a hell of a lot of blood flow through there, so there's a lot of heat travelling through them, which means there's a lot of heat loss through your thighs. Same again, under your arms, there's potentially a lot of heat loss under your arms, and in your carotid artery there. So you hear a lot of guys going on about, you know, get a hat on, especially when, you know, you get to my age and the thatching's getting a little bit thin. But you know, another thing that I will say to you is get some sort of neck covering. I like the merino neck buff. Most guys wear a buff. Buffs are great for hammock camping because you can bring them up, you know, bring them up like a hood, get your ears covered up. But yeah, get that carotid artery covered. You know, you're going to lose a hell of a lot of heat. Another thing about the neck buffs, obviously I don't need it because, you know, I'm Uncle Beard. But just to get that neck buff over your face and go, you know, go paramilitary and keep your face warm. But yeah, the neck buffs are great. So yeah, keep your core warm. So from up under from your Adam's apple down to your knees, we'll call that the core, rather than a lot of guys talk about that being the core. But your thighs and your butt, there's a hell of a lot of blood travels through those, so that potentially there's a hell of a lot of heat loss. So keep your core warm, layer up, get your merino on, then a mid-layer, good mid-layer. I've got a light wool shirt on underneath the buffalo, the old light summer weight wool Pendleton, and then I've got the buffalo obviously over the top with the pile inside. Now when I go to bed, I'm not going to be wearing the buffalo. I've got the Swedish wool military trousers on. I'm not going to be wearing those because, you know, if I'm cutting wood or whatever and I get a bit warm, the wicking properties of the trousers, I'll be dry on the inside, but there's a good chance that I've got condensation, you know, and sweat on the outside of the trousers, which will transfer into the inside of my sleeping bag and potentially back to me. So the trousers come off, the softies go on. The same with my socks. If I've been in camp all day, like I say, cutting firewood, moving about, exploring this, that and the other, the wool socks that I wear, my feet might be nice and warm. They might not feel damp, but they will be damp. So what I'll say to you is, change out your socks. Change out your socks. Put a fresh, dry pair of socks on. Wool, ideally. I found that wool's the warmest, but not too tight. Nice loose fitting. What my gran used to call a bed sock. So get yourself some nice loose fitting wool socks. Get them on. But what I also do when I take my socks off is With the socks I've just taken off, I give my feet a good rub with the sock in between the toes, get that sweat out of there. Just give them a good rub, get them warmed up, give them a bit of a massage, get that blood moving in, get them nice and warm, and get that fresh pair of socks on and get in that bag, and your feet will be nice and toasty in no time. But that's a good indicator as to whether or not you're going to struggle, whether or not your core's warm enough. If your feet are cold straight away, there's a good chance that your core's not insulated enough, or you've not taken on enough calories. Now, that's another thing. Taking on enough calories, you want to be eating a little bit later on. If you're aiming for bedtime, I don't know, 10 o'clock say, you want to be eating about 8 o'clock. Something quite fatty, something with a high calorie intake. So, you know, even if you just, for example, eat a couple of sachets of peanut butter before bed, you need something that's going to fuel your core and keep that heat pumping around your body. And another thing is, stay hydrated. Hot drinks are better, but if you've got no way of heating water, you know, just drink some water. Dehydration will thin your blood and slow that heat transfer around your body. And dehydration, you'll get cold. And dehydration, you know, it's a lot. People miss it in the winter time because you don't feel thirsty. There's no sun beating down on you. You're not necessarily sweating that much, but you do dehydrate in winter time. I mean, earlier on this year, in early summer, me and a couple of the guys were over in Sweden, and one of the guys is a bit of a veteran of the Swedish climate. Said to me, says, it's a drier climate than what you're used to, Steve. So make sure you drink plenty, even though you might not be thirsty. You're dehydrating a lot faster. And the daytime temperatures were pretty decent. I mean, it was May. You know, so we had like maybe 23, 24 degrees Celsius, but at night it just nosedive, and you could feel it. And two of the guys at that particular camp were saying that they were suffering from the cold, but they may not necessarily have known about the drier environment. So yeah, keep hydrated, get plenty of fuel into you, layer up. And don't be scared to carry in that extra weight. Don't be macho about it, thinking I've just got one sleeping bag. Carry in that extra weight, because there's nothing macho about being freezing cold. Nothing macho about There's nothing macho about being cold. There's nothing macho about having a rubbish night's sleep. So, you know, down doesn't weigh much. You can get a reasonable down jacket now for 20 or 30 quid. But you know, if you haven't got down, the warmest thing you've got, bring it, and just carry the extra weight. Lastly, but not leastly, and this is a great bit of kit, another great bit of kit, as well as the merino base layers, is invest in. I'm not going to drag it out of here because I might not use it tonight. Invest in a good wool blanket, pure wool, not wool mix, pure wool, a good wool blanket. Now that'll be my last ditch tonight. If everything I've done so far, and if everything I've told you about so far fails, my wool blanket will be coming out, and that'll be going over the lot, straight over the lot. Because if that don't keep me warm, and having fuel inside me don't keep me warm, and the layers that I've got don't keep me warm, then that's another warning sign that maybe I've got a virus, maybe I'm getting ill. So yeah, get yourself a wool blanket, because they last a lifetime, and you can use it in all kinds of situations. Brilliant bit of kit. It's got to be in top 10, guys, I think, a good wool blanket. But yeah, that's my thoughts on winter camping. Keep hydrated, get some good food inside you before bedtime, layer up, and watch out for the weather. Oh, and don't be macho. Okay guys, that's it from me for now. Look after each other, look after yourselves. It's Uncle Beard, out.